Are you an oaf that always seems to have more reasons not to hike than reasons to go? You're in luck. My name is Nathan, and as a hiking guide, outdoor education teacher, and a fellow oaf, I've heard and or personally used a lot of excuses over the years. These are my top 5 excuses not to go hiking, and why you should go anyway. First excuse on the list is I don't live near mountains or hiking trails, or I don't know where to hike. I kind of snuck in a second one there, but I've used this one way too many times. It's a pretty easy one to use, especially if you live in a place where there isn't much to offer in terms of scenery. I think my answer to that is what counts as a hike? Maybe your definition is a little bit narrow. Are you winded when you walk around the block? Well, that's a good place to start. I'd say this, get outside. The outdoors are much closer than we give them credit. Local parks, natural areas, and protected lands are often only minutes away, yet people complain about how far away real hikes are. Be an explorer in your own backyard. Beyond that, educate yourself. Spend time looking for places to hike. Ask questions, look in guidebooks, or just go outside. When the time comes, you'll be able to do those mountain hikes. For now, let's just be honest. This is a pretty lame excuse. Almost anyone can go hiking anytime, anywhere, even in the middle of a prairie. So this next one's a really common one. The excuse is, I don't have anyone to go with. Tricky because I'm an introvert, so I prefer going alone sometimes. That's not to say I don't like going with people. I enjoy taking people with me. Having said that, I know that some people just cannot go unless they go with someone. I mean, when I used to be a hiking guide, that's what I saw almost 90% of my clients, people who needed somebody to take them. But the real way, I think, to work around this is to look for other people who are hiking. There are hundreds of clubs. All you got to do is search your local area, look up hiking clubs / groups, and then put the name of your town or city or region, and good chance there's a group that meets fairly regularly, a group or two, and that group will be able to facilitate you going out with them. I guarantee they cater to people who are beginners. So that's, to me, that's like the best option, one of the easiest things to do. So the next one on the list is I don't have all the gear, or it just costs too much to go hiking. And I'll be honest, once you cross over into overnight backpacking, you're right, things do cost a lot more. It also depends on where you're going. If you're going somewhere that has, challenging weather or challenging terrain, then you might need a little bit of specialized gear. But the truth is, the vast majority of trails can be done in regular running shoes, some water, some sunscreen. There's a lot you can do that doesn't cost anything. I feel like this particular excuse is actually tied to some of the other excuses. So for example, you might say, it costs too much for me to drive out to such and such a place. And so I think sometimes the excuse is more like a more convenient excuse. Most of the time, going outdoors doesn't cost you anything. It's one of the cheapest activities, in fact, because it's so easy and readily available. A lot of people like to go, oh, I just don't have the money, I couldn't possibly go. And they talk like that. It's exactly how they talk. Oh, I don't think I can afford to take the trolley today. It will cost me too much to cross over to the other side, to the trailhead. I'll just have to burrow my face down into the ground and sip my tea and have my crumpets. See, I told you that's how they talk. I think it's worth at least explaining that having good gear can alleviate some stress. Lots of examples. Having breathable fabrics, for example, for your clothing, that can be quite a relief not to have everything made out of cotton soaking up every last bit of moisture. And so knowing that your gear is going to help is you know, it's a good way to help alleviate some of that stress. I'll tell you this, there are thousands of backpacks and boots that were bought once for one trip that didn't need to be purchased. I've seen it so many times where somebody goes out and once they've got all the gear, then they'll go hiking. And it's like, maybe you should try hiking a little bit. And if it's not for you, thank goodness you didn't buy thousands of things without deciding whether that was the right choice. It's worth your time and effort to look into the 10 essentials. It's not like 10 items, it's more like 10 systems. Things like first aid, navigation, and fire, and that sort of thing. It doesn't mean that you have to have all the things on that list in your backpack. It's just good to kind of have a sense of, what do I do in these situations? Do I need to bring, for example, do I need to bring a tent on a day hike? This next one, I think it's kind of one of the ones that no one wants to admit. I don't feel confident in my outdoor skills. I think a lot of people would never say that, especially guys, would be like, no, I feel plenty confident in my skills. I'm not trying to pick on guys, but you know what I'm saying. I would say this, you're watching this video. Okay, that's like a big step. You're actually trying to figure out how to be a better hiker. So the fact that you're trying to address the problem, that's what you got to do. That's it. Keep doing that. Do research, read books, watch YouTube videos. In the age of information, ignorance is not really an option. And when it comes to outdoor, I zoomed in too much. Oh, there we go. So I always think about the relationship between confidence and confidence. It's the same thing. Confidence and competence. A person who is competent, meaning they know stuff, they tend to have a little bit more confidence. Now you can be overconfident. Often it's related to thinking you know stuff when you don't actually, and that can be a problem. But more often it's people that are not confident and don't want to take risks. And I think that's kind of a problem. You need to be able to take some risks. One of my all-time favorite quotes, it's the quote that I use, actually the name of the company, Outright Adventure Films. Here's the quote, it's from Helen Keller. Security is mostly a superstition. It does not exist in nature. Avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. This one's probably gonna get me in trouble. I'm too slow, too old, too out of shape, or I'll slow everyone down. Yeah, probably one of the most likely excuse to use, because the problem here is that getting in shape takes a long time. You know, if you're out of shape, then quite honestly, you shouldn't be going hiking with the group that's planning on doing a 10-mile hike up a steep canyon that has a goat trail. Bob's been there once before and he thinks he knows the way, and you're going out as a brand new hiker on this trip with Bob, who is sure he's going to make it, and a bunch of other people that don't want to let Bob down, and then there's you at the back going like, do I like hiking? Being in shape for a trip means being prepared for that trip. Your bodies are incredible. Our bodies, your bodies. I'm an alien, you're a human. Our bodies are incredible. We can slowly condition ourselves if we want to. And that's the key, is if we want to. It's no good to say something like, oh, I just went up 2 flights of stairs every day before I went on this hike. Meanwhile, 2 flights of stairs is like the first 10 seconds of this, 8-hour trip, where it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 flights of stairs. If your trip, if you calculate it all out and you figure out, oh, I have to do 500 flights of stairs on this trip, you should be able to do 500 flights of stairs outside of that, like before the trip. The point I'm trying to make here is that you just need to be realistic. I just realized something. Oh, that's so much better. Is it? Oh, I don't know. I'm feeling better. Oh, and I should add this part here. It is a real concern for some people that they're going to be the one that slows down the group. Here's the reality. Some people honestly just go slower than others, and they'll get there. It's not like they won't get there. They know their ability. Every person knows their own ability. Maybe there's someone in the group that needs to like tone down, their objective, or maybe the people that are going in that group need to all kind of know that they're all beginners. It's often a case with some guides, and that's why a guide is often a good choice to lead a group rather than Bob. Sorry, Bob. Because the guide knows that there has to be a pace that everyone will be able to handle, and the guide often looks to the group and tries to find what that pace is, and they're being paid to keep everybody happy. And so to avoid some of those situations where you've got people who are pushing on the people who are going slow, I'm not gonna lie here, I've been that person sometimes. It never actually helps. It doesn't. If you're worried about holding the group back, maybe find a slower group to go with. Be careful about going in over your head on something that you're just not ready to do. So there you go. Those are the biggest excuses I've ever heard or have used while hiking. If you like this stuff, if you're kind of, enjoying this, well, stick around. That's my jam. So as a former hiking guide and someone who teaches outdoor education, that's my thing, and I really like making videos about this topic. And there's a lot of videos, hopefully, on their way soon. Do what you need to do to be able to stay up to date with when I post videos. If you don't know what that means subscribe, smash the thing, ring the gong, throw the spear, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. I look forward to providing it, and I hope that you give me some feedback. And if you have ideas of things you would like me to provide in terms of content, I am all ears, man. Avoiding danger is no safer in the long run. Blah.